Hey Jews, I've gotten a lot of questions lately and I've been having conversations with quite a few people online, Jews and non-Jews, Israelis and non-Israelis, and I thought that this might be helpful because I think that at this point, a lot of people are waking up. Thank God. Baruch Hashem, finally. I mean, there is what was called the Great Awakening that started. The Great Awakening, which started before COVID, okay? So a lot of people were kind of awake before COVID happened. And then it was called the Great Awakening. There was a whole bunch of stuff coming out from Q, you may remember, or QAnon and stuff. PSYOP. But nonetheless, people are waking up. I also had a video on my channel called Your Jewish Awakening, something like that. A lot of people are waking up as Jews right now, but not connected to the Torah. So pretty much my whole channel is dedicated to helping people understand, Jews, understand what Judaism really is, because there is a lie in our world. This world actually is called the world of lies. And I want to put things in perspective. I have in some other videos, but I'm going to do it differently and include also non-Jews, I guess. Just the big picture. This is just the truth. And by the way, none of this is my opinion. None of this is my conclusions. I'm literally just telling you what I've learned from the Torah, which is commanded to the Jews to learn and never to stray from this information, because this information was given by God and entrusted to a certain lineage from Abraham and Sarah, okay? So I think that a lot of Jews also don't understand our history. I certainly didn't until I started learning Torah. Where do we come from? Why are we Jews? What does that mean? What's our goal? What's our mission in life? Why should we even have a mission in life? What is even life? What happens after we die? All that stuff, okay? So it's imperative that we do know this, because after this world of lies, so our reality, 5-dimensional reality, 3 physical, 1 spiritual, and 1 is time. And for the Jew, time is very important. If you're not following Judaism, then what does time mean to you? Who cares? Really, what time of the day, what time of the month, what time of the year, the holidays, the festivals, who cares? But an actual objective reality, and the objective truth is that time is a part of our reality, and it's important, and we need to integrate it. So too is the spiritual. The spiritual is even actually more important than the physical, it turns out, which is just opposite than what you would think, because the physical is more real to you, to us in this world. But we know that we're going to Olam Haba, which is the eternal world of truth, where there will no longer be physical and probably not time, and it will all be spiritual. So look, again, God gave this information to Adam, Arishon, the first man, who gave it to his son Seth, who gave it to Noah. Noah and Adam knew one another, okay? Noah, the flood occurred, and Noah survived with his 3 sons, Ham, Yafet, and Shem. And he gave this information to Shem. And Shem was called Melchizedek. He was the king, basically, in Jerusalem. He was like the high priest of our reality at that time, because he served God and had this information. Without God, our reality doesn't exist. Okay, so it does depend to a certain extent on people in our reality knowing about God. If nobody knows about God, then what's even the point of this reality? Also in, I'm just going to show you Messilat Yesharim. Well, I'm sorry, Messilat Yesharim. He explains how the intelligent person would have to conclude that if this life were just this world and we die, then what would at all be the point of this existence? What is the point of your life? Wouldn't make any sense. However, if there were some spiritual information that would explain to you that what this life is, and that basically it's just, in a manner of speaking, a test to get to Olam Haba, which is the main point of existence, then it all makes sense. And then you also know what to do. How do you know what to do? It's because it was given to us in this guidebook. So the Torah in Hebrew means hora'ah, hora'ot, a guide. It's a guidebook of how to navigate this reality in the physical world with the time of your life, okay? So if you live 70 years or 80 years or 120 years, what you do with your life, with your time, and also how to utilize time correctly to achieve something, meaning when to pray, when to not eat yeast and flour, and when to eat matzah, and when to sit in your sukkah, and when to dance with the Torah, stuff like that. Okay, so that information was given to one son of Noah only, Shem, and he was like the Kohen Gadol. You've maybe heard of Kohanim, Leviim, Israel. So the Kohanim are like the high priests, basically, in our reality, and Shem had the priesthood, but he gave it to Avraham. Okay, Avraham and Sarah only had one child together, Yitzchak. Okay, and so Yitzchak got this information. And by the way, Avraham knew Shem. Yitzchak knew Shem. Yaakov knew Shem. Shem had an academy. And it was him and his grandson, Eber. And in that academy, Eber taught whoever went to learn. Okay, so people went to learn about God from Shem and Eber in their academy, including Avraham went, including Yitzchak went, including Yaakov went. But Eber there, he taught what the other 70 nation ideologies was. And why would it have been important to know that? So people would understand what's happening here. What's happening with the other people, what they're doing over here. Why? Because it's good to know what's happening. It's good to know that you have enemies. Okay, if you don't think you have an enemy, then you don't know to defend against your enemy. Right? It's good to know what's happening here. Okay, so he taught about the other things, the other ideologies, the other practices, occult practices before the flood, which is the reason for the flood. One of the reasons was that everybody got away from serving God. Okay? And so the world was destroyed, because if there is no one serving God, if there's no acknowledgement of God who created our reality, who created us and everything, then there is no point to this reality. There's no point to this world. And therefore, the people of the flood were destroyed. And everyone continued on through Noah and his 3 sons, Ham, Yafet, and Shem. Like I said, only Shem got this information, and it needed to be entrusted and encoded in the Torah throughout time. Okay, which by the way has an end date. So it's 0, 3,000, 6,000. We're only really going until this date. We are here. 5,784. We are at the end of time, basically. Okay, so we can look at prophecies, whatever. I have other classes on this, but you need to be aware that we're here. And over here now, a lot of the Jews have strayed from this ideology. You don't even know what's in the Torah, but you reject it outright. This is the truth of our reality. Okay, so now you're waking up and you're seeing a lot of anti-Semitism. And maybe you don't understand it, but it's very explainable, okay? So anti-Semitism comes from here. This is Shem, remember, okay? Anti-Shem, anti-Shem, anti-Shemi, anti-Semitism. It comes from here. Why? Because just like in the flood, these people got some information mainly through Ham, which was another son of Noah. The occult information. The Freemasons have that information, I guess. Okay? And because of all this, because of all that they do, which is unholy, it caused the flood. It caused them to be destroyed. Okay? But Shem has the knowledge of God. Shem had that, and they were anti-Shem. They were anti-Shemi. They were anti-Semites. Okay, and who got that information was Avraham and Sarah, Yitzchak, Rivka, Yaakov, Leah, Rachel, and the 12 tribes. And it followed this line. And God told Avraham that the information would go through his line. Okay, but also Avraham had another son. Well, he had a few more sons. He had Ishmael, okay, which is Islam. And you also had the sons of Keturah, which I forgot to put there. Sons of Keturah, which is like Eastern spiritualities. Okay, not the information of God. Only Yitzchak got that information. Only the descendants of Yitzchak. It's protected information. It's encoded information. Okay, and it had to be given to smart people. Okay, who would last over time with all the anti-Semitism. And that's us, the nation of Israel. There is only one nation of Israel. Now, there's a lot of confusion. And I've seen and I've had discussions with people today who are like confused because they see there's some sort of a lie. They've always supported the Jews, let's say, and the state of Israel. And they've always thought that supporting the state of Israel is supporting the Jews. But now there's questions, okay, in the world. I think you can see that, right? There's this whole thing about Zionism and Judaism. And if you're anti-Zionist, are you anti-Jewish? Are you anti-Semites? Okay, let's continue to learn, okay? This is very important. So this information went through the lineage of Abraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov, the 12 tribes. Specifically, I'm singling out Levi, who in Egypt, when the nation of Israel went down to Egypt and was enslaved there, Levi was not enslaved. Levi always kept this information, unbroken chain, okay? And Moses came from the tribe of Levi, and he was the most enlightened human being who was able to transmit that to us and give it to us in the Torah, which is the guidebook, okay, with all this information. That's when we became the nation of Israel, with the Torah. There is no nation of Israel without the Torah. That is a lie. Okay, so there's a lot of lies in our world of lies. There's lies. We are not Israelis. We are not Israelis without the Torah. We're nothing. We're not a nation. We're just a group of people. Okay? That doesn't mean anything. And we don't have God's protection, because what this does, this chain, okay, why is it important? Again, like I said, the world can't exist if there's no one serving God in this reality. If there's no knowledge of God, there's no point to this reality. Also, we need God. He's the sustainer of all life. So that's the task of the Jews. That's the task and the privilege. Why we're called the chosen nation. We were chosen to serve God. Okay? And then how did we do that? We got the Torah, the laws, and all the moral codes and all the ethical codes and everything, how to behave, how to act in the Torah. We were brought into the land of Israel. We had a kingdom of David, chosen by God. And then the temple was built. And then this connection in our world was wonderful. First temple, okay? King Solomon, lots of knowledge, world peace, all that stuff. And it worked. It worked because the Jews, the nation of Israel, in the land of Israel, with the temple, were serving God, okay? When the Jews strays away from the Torah and away from the service of God, they are no longer filling the purpose for which they became a nation. Us, we became a nation to serve God. Literally says that. Took you out of Mitzrayim so you could be a nation holy to me, to serve me in this reality. That's our purpose. Okay, let's look at some other nations or peoples, where they come from. There's 70 other nations. Like we said, Noah had Ham. Ham was wicked. Ham brought over some of this wicked or occult information, unholy information from before the flood and others after. And that's a cult. That's Satanism. That's Freemasonry. That's all that kind of stuff. And it is spiritual information that they have. Okay, Yefet. Yefet was another son of Noah, who is mainly concerned with the physical part of our reality. That's humanism. Humanism, materialism, all that kind of stuff, okay? There's other ideologies out here. When the Jew strays out here and becomes enmeshed in that, the Jew is no longer serving his purpose in this reality. So some things could happen to him. If you're lucky, then God tries to wake you up. How does he wake you up? With either anti-Semitism, right? With sicknesses, right? He basically trying to humble you. Okay, because if you're smart, you humble yourself. You become a humble person. You understand that you do not know everything, even though you've also never even bothered to learn it. You don't know everything, and you need to understand to be humble. Humble is the biggest, the best quality a person can have, because it means you know that you don't know everything, and you need to learn, and you're open to learning, and you're open to serving God. Okay, that's why Moses was called the most humble person, humble servant of God. That's the goal, okay? So if you will not humble yourself, God will humble you, if you're lucky. If you're lucky, why do I say that? Because you want to wake up and come back here. You want to come back and serve God in this reality, because then you get Olam Haba, which is the main point. Okay, otherwise, what is your life? Why did you bother living? You have no purpose. Either you're a useless idiot on this side, right? You're helping this agenda, which now we can see better, the agendas of the WEF, the agendas of the New World Order, okay? Which, like King Solomon says, there's nothing new in the world. The New World Order is basically the Tower of Babel. They are not creative, okay? They are destructive. This reality without God, or with little amounts of God morality in it, always goes to chaos. And then it is destroyed, okay? So there's nothing new. And then Abraham also had, like I said, Ishmael, okay? Let's look at, that's like Islam, okay? I'm just looking at other ideologies. Abraham also had the sons of Keturah. That's like the Eastern philosophies and spirituality, because they didn't get this information. Then Yitzchak also had Esav, okay? And we can look at the Vatican. Okay, these are all lies in our reality. Okay? I mean, a lot of Christians, I'm just going to say, a lot of people who, whatever, are like trying to figure it out and trying to be like, kind of blaming the Jews for everything, like normal, when really we need to also talk about the Erev Rav. But the point of the thing is, my point really is that, okay, you want us to look, and you want the Jews to wake up and realize that Israel is a lie, the state of Israel is a lie, and Zionism is a lie, secular Judaism is a lie, and even Hasidut at this point is really a lie. Chabad, all that stuff, it's a lie. It's a lie. Okay, all you would have to do is really learn Torah to figure that out. Okay, but they don't want to hear that the New Testament is a lie. It is a lie. Okay, so in order to understand what is true, what is objective truth, and what is a lie, you have to be really humble. Okay, you have to be humble, because this reality is going to go more and more toward chaos. And we will all be humbled at a certain point. We will all be humbled until we realize there is nothing but God. So it would be good for you if you humbled yourself now. Humble yourself and learn Torah. Learn where you come from. Learn the truth. Okay, because we all have a purpose in our life. The purpose of the Jew in this life and in this reality is to serve God. Okay, and when that happens, there is a peace on earth. There is like Like in the first temple period, there's peace on earth, there's knowledge, there's health, there's happiness. If you stray, you are no longer upholding your purpose in life, and then several things can happen. Okay, like we saw on October 7th, which is written in Hosea 14, the prophecy of Hosea 14, Hosea ben Be'eri. Okay, if you stray so far and God knows that there's no waking you up, no humbling you, that could be it. That could be it for you. And it could be many other ways. Okay? But also the other people in this world also have their purpose. So for example, it's Ishmael, and its hints are given sometimes in the names. Ishmael, Ha'el, Hashem, will listen. Ishma is here. Okay? So when Israel strays from the path, then Ishmael will make us cry out to God, and he will hear us at that time. Okay, so look again, okay, because in our reality, there have to be, that's the purpose, that's their purpose. Okay, they need a bunch of people who are they're called Peri Adam. Okay, people who are bloodthirsty, whatever, like they have no problem, even to convert to Islam in the beginning. They just beheaded you if you did not convert. So they have no problem with violence. Okay? And so Hashem uses them to make us, the nation of Israel, cry out to him. That's their purpose. Okay? They're doing their purpose right now because we are not fully doing our purpose. Okay? Now, there's other people that their purpose, they have another purpose, even some of the other 70 nations. Okay? So I'm just going to read from Messilat Yesharim and the commentary by Rabbi Avigdor Miller. And this is just it's just explaining man's general obligation in his world. Okay, so it says this is from 182 of this book, and he's quoting from another book that of Rabbi Avigdor Miller's, Praise My Soul. The world shall also be established. The entire universe is benefited when its inhabitants tremble before Hashem and fear him. And actually, that's what King Solomon says in Kohelet, that the whole purpose of your life is to acquire a fear of Hashem. Okay? Not a love for him, even though that's amazing. But you should fear Hashem. So the entire universe is benefited when its inhabitants tremble before Hashem and fear him. When men recognize the truth and they gain perfection, all of nature is thereby elevated. It is a great elevation for the creatures when they serve the perfect man. That's Messilat Yesharim 1. He therefore establishes the world. With 10 declarations was the world created, in order to bring retribution upon the wicked who destroy the world, and to give great reward to the righteous who uphold the world. That's in Avot 5:1. Such a man establishes the world and brings blessing upon it because of his virtue. Okay, so it says, behold, in Behold a People, that's another book, it says, when Esav entreated his father for some blessing, Isaac complied. So that's the story of Yitzchak with his son Esav and his son Yaakov. And Yitzchak had to decide who to give this blessing to, who to give this information of the spiritual reality to, the objective truth of our reality and the knowledge of God and how to serve him in our reality. He had to decide to give it to Esav and to Yaakov. That's a whole story there in the Torah to tell you what happened there. Okay? And he gave it to Yaakov, as we know and as I just explained. Okay? But Esav said to him, also give me a blessing. So it says that Isaac complied, and he said, you shall serve your brother. Okay, so you should serve Yaakov, meaning the other nations, some of the other nations, they should serve the nation of Israel. How? Don't get crazy right now until I explain. That you shall serve your brother, but when you shall see and have cause to complain, you shall throw off his yoke. And the first part of this prophecy, you should throw off his yoke. Okay, so the first part of this prophecy came true 700 years later, after that blessing was given, when all of Edom, that's the sons, the lineage of Esav, when all of Edom became servants to David, King David. Okay, because like I said, at that time, after we got the Torah and went to the land of Israel and we had the kingdom of David, we were serving Hashem. And so that meant that everyone was helping us do that, helping the Jews accomplish that mission in life. And when we have that mission, then the other nations help us in a way, okay? But when we stray from that mission, then what's the purpose of their lives now? Right? So look, it says then, and that's how this whole reality is supposed to go together, is that there's people, like I said, Yefet got a lot of the information for this physical and the blessing for the physical, okay? So a lot of their thing is to make sure that this physical reality is maintained so that we can, the Jews, can just focus on the spiritual and serve God. And then that way there's harmony, like in the first temple period. And what will happen again in the third temple period. Okay, but it's about the Jews waking up to understand that we have a mission. We have a goal in life. It's not just to survive to be movie stars or to be, activists for stupid, unholy things. So it says here, I'm continuing, that over 150 years later, the second part of Isaac's prophecy was fulfilled. Okay, so it says, Yoram did what was wrong in the eyes of God. In his days, Edom rebelled from under the hand of Judah and made a king over themselves. Okay, so when the Jews strayed, then the other nations stopped serving him, and they had their own kings. The cause to complain was that Yoram did what was wrong in the eyes of God. Esav was destined to be subservient to the seed of Jacob only as long as they were virtuous in God's Torah. For the service of the Torah is even greater than its study, and it is a great elevation for those who are in the service of the higher man. Okay, and I'm not doing justice to this story here by explaining it, but I'm going to continue. The nations are the watchmen of the material world. When Rabbi Yehuda Hanasi needed 70-year-old apple wine as a remedy, and it was found in the possession of an old non-Jew, a goy, Rabbi Yehuda declared, "Blessed is he who put his world into the hand of a watchman." Blessed is he, God. He knew what he was doing here in the reality. There's a reason for everybody in this reality. So thank God there were people here that had made that 70-year-old apple wine. Was it apple wine or apple vinegar? Apple wine, right? So that the Jew didn't have to go and have that apple orchard and make the wine and ferment it and test it and sell it and buy it and blah, blah, blah. That's, instead, he was learning Torah, right? So he said, blessed is he who put his world into the hand of the watchman. In the future, when Israel shall regain its full virtue, strangers shall stand to pasture your flock, and foreigners shall be your husbandmen and your vineyard workers. But you should be called the Kohanim of the Lord. That's in Yeshaya 61:5. This arrangement is for the benefit of both. Jacob's virtuous abilities should be wholly in God's service, and Esav's practical skills, who knew hunting and he was a man of the field, would be employed in God's service by helping Jacob. But when the seed of Jacob deteriorated, Esav justly had cause to complain that his service was not being satisfied, or that his service was not justified, and therefore Edom rebelled, and God gave them the freedom from Jacob's yoke. Meaning that when the world is running perfectly, and you can tell that it's running perfectly when things are peaceful. Look around you in the year 5784 and see where is peace in the world. Do you see it? Where is truth? Do you see it? Where is justice? Do you see it in your world? And it says in Sotah that these are the three things that the world exists for, exists in the merit of peace, truth, and justice. I personally don't see any peace. I don't see a lot of truth. I see a lot of lies. And the lies are coming out. They're no longer hiding anything. And I do not see a lot of justice. Do you? So realize that everybody has a purpose in life. You have a purpose. Everybody has a purpose. It's just that we don't understand at this point what that purpose is because we have strayed too far. You need to humble yourself now and learn your history. That's what God tells us to do at the prophecies of the end times, specifically in Isaiah 48 to 53. You can go look. He says, look from where you came. Go back and look at your history and know that you come from Abraham and Sarah and what that means. And this is what it means. It means that you got the truth. We got the truth of the reality passed down to us. And we are supposed to do something with that, which is learn it, humble yourself and learn it, and do it and serve God. Okay, so we can reestablish this. So we can get the kingdom of David reestablished and build the third temple and connect our reality again in the spiritual element of our reality, okay, with God. Now, the state of Israel is now in the land of Israel. And the Jews, okay, the Israelis are now serving the state without the laws of the Torah. And it has been expressed over and over and over that the state of Israel will never be a Torah observant state, a Torah observant country. Okay? So you see, because that is here, there is currently no kingdom of David and no temple, and there will not be as long as it is here. Who is this? Erev Rav. Okay, so we see there's a lot of different people and a lot of different lives and a lot of different other things in our reality, including the Erev Rav. There are 5 groups, including rabbis at the end of time. All the leaders, okay? Spiritual, political, cultural, I guess. Erev Rav, they came out from Egypt with the nation of Israel. They came out. They were not included in the clouds of glory. They came out with, they mingled with, they look like, they may even think they are at this point in our history, Jews. Okay, but they are not serving God. Okay, they are with the New World Order. They are Zionists. Okay, and they have made a big lie to confuse everybody, to confuse the Jews. Also about Zionism. They took a nice word from the Torah and they changed the meaning and they changed the focus, because the focus of the Jews in the land of Israel should be on serving God. And when that happens, then God will fight for us. We will not need the IDF. We will not need all the Haredim to join the IDF to save the state of Israel. Okay? And I know that everybody's mad about that. Why don't the Haredim go to the army? This and that and that. Because this is serving a different God. And the Haredim, who are loyal, for the most part, to God. Again, remember what I said. There are groups of Erev Rav who are in the Rabbanut and are in the leaders of the rabbis also. So you got to be careful. That's why there is going to be a birur, a separation. At the end of time, there is going to be upheavals, okay, which is meant to test you and humble you. Test you. Are you loyal to God or not? Okay, one of those things, COVID, for example, because God is our doctor. Are we trusting in man? Are we trusting in the lie? Are we willing to just follow blindly? Or do we do what the Torah says? Which the Torah says in cases like that, we wait and see. We wait and see. Okay, so you will be humbled at some point. Either you'll be humbled with your health, or you will be humbled with a war, or you will be humbled and awakened via anti-Semitism. And the Rambam says that throughout history, it's like this world is like walking in darkness with the lies, okay? And that every now and then, there's like a flash of lightning where the truth is kind of revealed for a moment, okay? Gives clarity, makes you realize that Olam Hazeh, this world, is a world of darkness and lies, and makes you question that. And that flash of lightning is meant to refocus you to learn what you're here for. And so things like flashes of lightning, the Rambam explains, are like events in history that are so crazy in a way that it's meant to wake you up and shake you awake, okay? Like the Holocaust. And Rabbi Miller, as he's explaining this, again, this is from Messilat Yesharim and from the translation and commentary by Rabbi Avigdor Miller. And he explains, and he also has another book that I highly recommend called A Divine Madness by Rabbi Avigdor Miller. What madness? Rabbi Avigdor Miller. Where he explains that in the Holocaust, like the whole point there was to wake you up. So there were a lot of Jews who had strayed and they mixed in and became very materialistic and very Olam Hazeh, right? And not focused on Olam Haba, not focused on the Torah, not doing the service of Hashem. And they saw the flash of lightning like it's described, where the truth, but too late. Even when they were on the cattle cars, they were like, wait, maybe somehow this is going to turn out okay. Maybe somehow we're going to get our property back and our businesses back and our houses back and our lives back. So it's, when do you want to wake up? When do you want to wake up? There is no nation of Israel without the Torah. That is when we became a nation. I don't know. I hope that's helpful. I really hope that that's helpful. Things are not going to go back to pre-COVID times. The anti-Semitism that you're seeing in this world today is not going to just resolve itself and go back to normal. You can go back to your college campuses and learn all the ideologies of the 70 nations quietly. You can go back and learn your gender studies and you're wasting your life. We have a purpose in life, and actually that there's even, I'm not going to talk about reincarnation now and stuff but there's even things where you have a certain mission in your life and you're given a certain amount of time, okay? So I'm going to write this again. You have the 3 dimensions are physical. 1 dimension is spiritual. 1 dimension is time. Let's just talk about right now your life. You were given a certain amount of time to accomplish a certain mission, which basically is to realize that there is a God. Okay? That's your mission. And you're given, let's just say, 70 years. Okay? As long as you're somehow accomplishing some of this mission, or as long as there is some chance that you will accomplish that mission, you are allowed to have this time in this reality. Okay? But the minute that it's just like hopeless, that you're completely lost and completely gone, then certain things can happen. Okay? Either you will be awakened, like I said, if you're lucky, but you could just be taken out of the game because there's no point anymore. Okay, chas v'shalom. And there's always point right to the very last second. That's what they say, is right into the very last breath that you take, you can still recognize God. But don't let it be that last second. Use your time wisely. Understand now that there is a God. Go and learn the Torah. We live in a time now where all of the information from all of history is available to us in books and on the internet. There's many, many rabbis who explain a lot of things. So we need to go back and look and learn. Okay? And also, you can see also in the unholy side that there are people there, let's say working with, let's just talk about the Freemasons. Just very briefly, but I think we know, a lot of the people know that Freemasons, they take an oath, right, to uphold their ways, whatever, and to look out for one another, the brotherhood. They are all in this together. Once somebody strays, right, they kill them, right? I'm just going to say People like Cappy, whatever his name, Isaac Cappy, whatever, right? When he came out and outed a bunch of people, like he mysteriously suicided himself off a bridge. Okay, if you're no longer useful in your life for whatever God you're serving, then you could be taken out. All right? I mean, hopefully that makes sense. You make yourself useful either knowingly or unknowingly. You could be a useful idiot. You could be a useful idiot in your life by being a Jew who doesn't learn Torah and doesn't keep Shabbat and doesn't act at all like how a Jew is supposed to act, as outlined for us in the Torah, and completely living like a goy, which, by the way, just means nation, a different nation. We're Goy Kadosh, a holy nation, and there's other goyim. Okay, but so if there's no difference between you and how you look, how you act, how you live your life, then a goy, then you need to wake up and realize you're being a useful idiot in a way. Okay? You haven't focused yourself on what you're supposed to be doing in your life with the time that you have. And hopefully, B'ezrat Hashem, you will not need to be humbled in order to figure that out. Humble yourself. Humble yourself. Learn where you came from. Utilize the books that are available to you. Look, okay? There's many, many books that you could be reading right now. Many, many books. Many books. Also, on you could be listening to class after class after class on YouTube. Please, I invite you. I mean, my whole channel is just dedicated to this. Okay? Go watch all of them. Rabbi Kalazan on YouTube. He has many, many classes in English. Rabbi Mizrahi. No reason you can't listen while you're driving. No reason you can't listen to some classes while you're cleaning your house. No reason you can't listen to any of these when you go on your daily walks. When you're just chilling, instead of watching some stupid show on Netflix, you could be listening and learning Torah. And you should be. Okay? Rabbi, I'm giving you just names of rabbis in English. Anava, Rabbi Alon Anava. These are trustworthy rabbis that you can learn a lot from. There are many, many more rabbis. Can't list them all. Just saying some. Any objection you may have to being a religious Jew, you will find answers for. You're not the only people in history who have been questioning, like, do I really need to keep Shabbat? I mean, is that really something that I need to do at this point? Yes. And you're not the only one who's asked that. So humble yourself.